I want to talk to you now about wallets and how we can trust the wallets or what things are needed of a wallet in order for the different elements in an ecosystem, the different participants, to trust the wallet. And this leads to some things like user choice of wallet or some things that an ecosystem operator has as options that they may want to have happen. So, just refresher on basically the 6 trust vectors that we've talked about in prior videos. The key ones here that pertain to the wallet: the issuer trusts the wallet to put credentials into it, the reader trusts the wallet for credential protection and user authentication. The user trusts the wallet because it's their source of identity documents or their place repository for identity documents and the receipts of those. And then there's other parts of this too, which we'll get to in the next slide. When you take apart all those trust vectors and you redraw them in the components point from the components point of view, then what you have is the wallet application really is the center of this trust. It interacts with all of the different participants in an ecosystem, including the ecosystem operator itself. So, on a data flow perspective, there's a lot, and the wallet really is core to trust. So let's take a look at what, therefore, a wallet attestation has to do. Excuse me. Wallet attestation really has 3 layers to it then, because it's got like 3 components that in real time we'll have to check something about that wallet and check the assertions it makes. To the verifiers, it needs to guarantee that the credential was protected and not changed, right? It needs to know the private keys were, so that when the verifier or the reader, challenges, that it can successfully fulfill the challenge. And the integrity of the user authentication procedure. This one's interesting because, for instance, in Europe, there was some decisions or discussions about not releasing credentials until they had been authenticated to the substantial level, while in the United States, for in-person transactions, we are releasing the portrait so that the verifier can take a look at the portrait on the reader and match it to the person standing there. So there's like these, mismatch really between how those two things are going to work, and they exist because the user authentication is a little bit short in the standardization at the moment. Layer 2 to the issuers, so that the issuer can feel comfortable putting a credential into the wallet. This might be done contractually. In the United States at the moment, it is done contractually between the actual credential issuer and the wallet provider. But when you get to the point of user choice of wallet, this is a key feature, right? For the user to choose that, and then the wallet to identify itself to the issuer. And then to the end users, their view of the wallet and their choice of wallet, if they have one, is really key to their trust in what that wallet's going to do. So about protecting documents, protecting receipts, transaction logs, we'll cover that a bunch in a second. When you look at the wallet holder perspective down on the bottom left here, right, you have surveillance capitalism happening widely on the internet, and people really don't want that, or they may not want that within their wallet ecosystems and login ecosystems. So, because those are now tied directly to an actual, proven identity. So that's one of the key considerations. I think that anti-government surveillance is another key consideration from the user point of view. So the wallet's assurances that it is not reporting transactions to the issuer, regardless of whatever the exchange model was. Consent management, revocation of consent for GDPR, like how the user gets control over that, including how they receive purpose information from the relying party. These are all really important parts of what a wallet does as the user's agent, and that makes that wallet attestation really key to the whole trust in the ecosystem and key to the end users feeling comfortable to take part. If we break these apart really into sort of vector deep dive on each one of these, from the issuer point of view, the issuer needs to know a set of things about the wallet application in order to approve the endorsement of the credential and then issuing that or releasing that credential into the wallet for its safeguarding. That includes when the wallet, it could be a cloud wallet or car on your automobile wallet. Um, and the question is like, are there like tiers here? Are there like wallets that can hold certain types of credentials and not other types of higher assurance or higher identity assurance level credentials? And then from the user point of view, that wallet, I guess you could call it the anxiety shield, right? It's the user getting over the hurdle to feel comfortable to participate in the ecosystem and the things it needs from the wallet in order to achieve that comfort level, right? What is the wallet going to do about their transaction data? Is it a safe place for it? Portability of that wallet so that they could leave it behind and pick up credentials or pick up receipts into another new wallet. How that would work is certainly an interesting part of wallet trust. And then looking at the presentation side of things, right? Like these presentation time vectors, I'll just point at one of these in particular because the reader needs to know that the wallet has done what it can to protect the credential, that its code is sufficient for user authentication. And this is in direct contrast to what you would say as zero trust, where you want to have zero trust of the user's agent, something that is not directly under control of any IT system, essentially, right? So how that works and how that holds together, how it's enforced at the ecosystem level, that'll be the topic for some additional videos. But the fact of having what that wallet attestation needs to do is super important. So when you break it down into really four key things: protect the credential, perform user authentication on behalf of the relying party at transaction time to the request level of the relying party, and provide the results of that. It needs to the RP needs to trust that. Meet the privacy expectations of the user, which might start at the privacy expectations of the ecosystem, and then on top of that, be a wallet functionality that is actually selling functionality. I want to buy this wallet because it does a better job with privacy than another one. So that that's a key thing of meeting user privacy expectations and ecosystem privacy expectations. And then, of course, at that credential provisioning time and communication time during the holding of the credential, right? Updates, potential revocations if that happens, refreshes, meeting the issuer and ecosystem requirements there in that vector, trust vector, is also super important. So thanks. You can see how the wallet's right in the middle, how the wallet is key to trust, and how we have to create some of these mechanisms and the conventions that surround them to enforce what the ecosystem wants from a privacy and usability perspective.